start, students. So far we are discussing about aptitude. As I told you in the very first class, aptitude is broadly categorized into two things. One is qualitative and another one quantitative. Qualitative means where you doesn't require any mathematical skills. But if mathematical skills are also required, in fact, they require, we need to know some mathematical calculations before arriving any conclusions. If that is the case, then we call it as quantitative aptitude. If that is the case, then we call the topic as quantitative aptitude. Then the significance of quantitative aptitude. What is quantitative aptitude? How do we define quantitative? As I told you, qualitative means where there is no mass, but quantitative means it is the topic. We come to a conclusion basing on some basic mathematical skills. So this is what we call is quantitative aptitude. So today we are about to start quantitative aptitude. Quantitative aptitude. Probably yesterday you took some exam, students, coding, decoding, no? You might be having some doubts in that. We will be discussing that. We will be discussing that. The last 45 minutes, we will be discussing the doubts in coding, decoding. As I told you already, I am not in a hurry to complete the syllabus. I just want to make you perfect in the topic. Because as I told you that this topic is obviously mandatory in every competitive examination. Therefore, my intention is not to just complete the syllabus and just get away. No, it's not like that. Okay. We will be discussing that. Quantitative aptitude, now we are actually starting about, because I don't want to teach only one topic so that you get some little bored, in fact, because this is something new to you. Obviously, a little, you need to develop some kind of interest. Quantitative aptitude is also known as arithmetic. Quantitative aptitude is also known as arithmetic, and in some examination this is simply known as quants. People usually call this topic as quants. In short, they usually call it as quants. Be very fair, my dear students, be very fair with you. This plays a deciding role in your competitive examination. Whatever the examination you will be taking in future, whether it is CAT, GRE, GMAT, bank POs, whatever it is, even in civil services you have aptitude, that is what we call is CSAT, civil services aptitude test. You have to take this topic. In competitive examination, quantitative aptitude is obviously plays a deciding role. Deciding role in the sense, many of you usually find a little difficulty in this topic. It is something like physics in your MSET. You have physics in your MSET, no, probably in your MSET examination, the topic which you felt a little difficulty is obviously physics. It is something like that. But it can be handled. It can be handled, man. What not can be handled? What not can be handled? Coronavirus is never, it was an unprecedented disease. We never thought this kind of disease earlier. We never had, nobody in the world had this kind of perception. Nobody has. But still, we are actually trying to solve the problem. Maybe within 1 month or 2 months, yes, the things will be getting normal. What not? What not? Every problem has a solution. If there is no solution, there is no problem. What do you think? If you label something as a problem, there is obviously a solution. If you think there is no solution, it is not a problem. Sun rises in the east. It never rises in the north. That person doesn't rises because it is not possible. Therefore, any topic can be handled with a little bit of effort. And hence, I believe that even this topic is not really complicated one. Now, I just want to let you know, What is the meaning of quantitative aptitude and why this topic plays a very crucial role in all competitive examinations? First of all, I just want to give you some basic information of this topic. Students, first of all, let me tell you that how many corona cases are there in India? How many corona cases? Maybe something around 33 lakh corona cases in India. How many cases we have in America? They are having something around 60 lakh cases in America. Now let us question ourselves, do we have more number of cases or America have more number of cases? So what is the parameter? What is the parameter? How do we know that somebody is affected with COVID? Probably we come to know the person affected with COVID only by testing. So if somebody says that we don't have corona cases, probably they are not carrying any testing. If testing is conducted, obviously cases will come out, no doubt in it. So do we have any parameter? Do we have any basic idea to compare these two countries? These two countries, how do we compare America and India in cases of corona? How do you compare China and India in cases of corona? We need to have some mathematics now. So that mathematics is obviously quantitative. It is a quantity. It is measurable. That is why we call it as quantitative aptitude. That is why we call this topic quantitative aptitude. Students, I give you some simple idea about quantitative aptitude so that you can have some clarity what we are able to discuss in this topic. What actually we are going to discuss in this topic, right? Now just listen to me. Now just listen to me. Students, let me suppose that let me suppose that GST, you know that GST, goods and services, service taxes, GST. So what is GST? If you purchase any goods, if you get any service, you need to pay for that. But you say for the last 4 months, we Indians, of course we are purchasing goods for sure, but what about the services? We are not getting any services. Probably people are not traveling, people are not going to get any advice from somebody else, we are not getting any services, very little people, very few people are getting services. So yes, GST obviously comes down, GST collection comes down. What is GST? How do we understand GST collections? What is GST? Probably GST is something you don't know. You don't know what is GST. Okay, man, right, forget about that. Should I give you one example which you can easily associate? Should I give? Come. I give you very simple advice so that simple example you the people can easily associate with this. How many two-wheelers you have in your home? Probably every family must be having one two-wheeler for sure, no? Yeah. How many liters of petrol you are consuming? How many liters of petrol you are consuming? Probably 1 liter, isn't it? So in every house, obviously 1 liter petrol you must be consuming on an average. Probably sometimes it can be even more than 1 liter or sometimes it is less than 1 liter, but at an average we can say that we are consuming 1 liter of petrol for sure, right? Every household, we can take it granted that almost at an average, if I say anything in mass, you should always consider it as an average. At an average, every Indian family must be consuming 1 liter of petrol. It can be petrol or it can be diesel. Now come students. Now we have around 130 crore population, 140 crore population in India. 140 crore population in India, right? So if I say that we have 140 crore population at an average, there must be 35 crore people or families, maybe families. I think you understand what I mean, students. If I say that 140 crore population, if I say that there are 140 crore population, remember students, 140 crore is population. I mean to say that 140 crore is the population of India, and out of 140 crore, if there are 4 members in each family, maybe it can be understood that there may be 34 crore families. I hope you understand what I mean. 140 crore population, so 35 crore families. We can take it granted, no, at an average there may be 4 persons in a family. I mean to say it is an average. Maybe in some families 3 members or in 4, something like. So when there are 35 crore population in India, students, just listen to me, we must be consuming 1 liter of petrol for sure, isn't it? 1 liter of petrol for sure. So on every 1 liter, come on student, every 1 liter, government is usually government is going to get 40 rupees as a tax, which means to say that 50% of the amount we are paying for petrol or diesel, government of India or whatever it is, they are getting around 40 rupees in the name of taxes. 40 rupees per every 1 liter, so close to 40 rupees per liter. Therefore, 35 crore population, if they pay 40 rupee tax to the government, then can you tell me students how much amount they are paying as a tax? 35 into 4, 140, 1400 crore rupees of amount. Every day 1400 crore rupees of amount. Every day we are paying in terms of taxes only on petroleum products. I am talking about 2-wheelers. There are 4-wheelers, there are lorries, there are trucks and so many. They are even consuming more number of diesel and petrol for sure. Probably they will be paying even more tax. So government of India or whatever it is, whether it is state or central government, they are collecting 1400 crore rupees every 1 day in terms of tax only on household petroleum consumption. So if you multiply the same by 30, my dear students, 42, 14 into 3, 42,000 crores of rupees our government is collecting in the name of taxes. What is your reaction? Oh my God. Remember, this never comes under GST. GST is different, petrochemicals are different. GST collection is different, petrochemicals are different. Petroleum products never comes under GST. Remember? So 40, this is all about average. It may be, this value can be taken granted at an approximation, because everything we cannot give you a correct picture. And if we multiply the same by 12, probably we will be getting how much amount government is getting in the name of taxes, particularly petroleum products. That is the reason you see that even in international market, crude oil prices comes down, we never reduces the selling price of petrol, because it is the main source of income for state or central government in this pandemic. Because almost every other purchasing has come down. We people are not actually going to movies. We people are not actually traveling a lot. We are not spending our money on any luxurious items, but petrol is, it is almost like a mandatory. You cannot, you just cannot get away by not by using petroleum products. So that source, any government usually never want to leave. Students, what I am trying to explain you, the concept of quantitative aptitude. 140 by 4, you can call it as an average, and here we have multiplication. Here we have to use some kind of percentages, something like. So this is how quantitative aptitude will help us to understand what is actually happening around us. Quantitative aptitude is one of the very significant topic that will explain us what is actually happening around us. Because only by using quantitative measurement only we can understand what actually is happening. That is the reason why this topic plays a very crucial role in every competitive examinations. Students, I am very seriously giving you, I am just giving you very serious warning, students. If you do not develop your own perception about the things what are actually happening around you, you may not be able to come to a conclusion of your own. For anything, if you have your own perception by looking at the numbers and around, obviously you come to know what is actually happening. I hope you understand that. You the youngsters are very passionate about your cinema hero, you know. My cinema hero has collected 200 crore in one day, 100 crore in one day, something like, you know, whenever a new movie releases, obviously you the people are so, somebody are so, what I can tell you, that they are so crazy about their cinema hero. So usually this usually happens in your age because most of you are in teenage. But have you had any some simple calculation to arrive at whether whatever you are talking is right or rubbish? Simply, why do you bother about the number that is provided in social media? You can have your own calculation. What is the cinema ticket, my dear students? Maybe around 100 rupees or 200 rupees. On an average, how many seats are available? How many seats are available in Andhra and Telangana? How many cinema theaters do we have? And what is the seating capacity of each theater? If we have 2000 cinema theaters, and if each cinema theater have a seating capacity of around 400, let me students, 2000 cinema theaters and 400 seating capacity. Come on student, 2 into 4, 8. How many zeros we have? 8 zeros. Therefore, it is understandable that if all the seats are fully occupied, we can sell around 8 lakh tickets for every one show. And if you multiply the same by 100, if you think that the ticket rate is around 100, therefore 8 lakhs into 100, that is 8 crore. I believe that you are able to understand that, because when we have 2000 theaters, obviously not more than that. And if every theater is having 400 seating capacity, there can be a maximum of 8 lakh audience in one particular show. So it is understandable that you can collect 8 crore rupee if you think that all the seats are fully occupied. Let me suppose that there are 5 shows a day, maybe the collection can be around 40 crore rupees a day. The collection can be 40 crore rupees a day. And if the cinema runs successfully for about 10 days continuously, without any break, maybe the collection could be something around 400 crore rupees a day. I hope you understand what I am telling you. So these are all simple calculations we can do of your own. It doesn't mean to say that we need to depend on somebody else. We can have our calculations of our own. This is what we call is quantitative aptitude. Quantitative aptitude will help you to understand the things with the help of calculations, and these calculations are broadly divided into 2 components. In quantitative aptitude, my dear students, in quantitative aptitude we need to have two important concepts, that is, one is percentages. One is percentages and the second concept is ratio. And if we the people are so confident of percentages and ratio, I can tell you without any doubt that we can understand quantitative aptitude properly. Time and work, time and distance, averages, ratio proportion, profit and loss, mensuration. Probably when I am reading these headings, probably you must be recollecting what is What the syllabus you are having in your school level? Yeah, time and work is there in your school level, time and distance, averages, all the topics are there in your school level. We are not learning anything new. We are not learning anything new, but we are learning in a different direction. In school level, that was supposed to be maths, but here in competitive examination, this is logic. We are applying logic with the help of mathematics. On the very first day, I told you the one story regarding a father and 4 sons. You remember Tenali Ramakrishnudu story? I told you, I still remember that. That is the classical example of quantitative aptitude. We will be coming to the conclusion by using our simple mathematics, that mathematics. We call it as quantitative aptitude. Students, so this is all about quantitative aptitude. This is the significance of the topic, and this particular topic is going to play a very crucial role. And if somebody says anything to you, don't listen to them blindly. Have your own perception, have your own calculation. If somebody says that my cinema, my hero collected 1000 crore in one day, just ask him to show the calculations. Have your own perception. That is what we call, that is the significance of quantitative aptitude. I can tell you, after having a complete idea of quantitative aptitude, your decision making, your kind of understanding, the kind of conclusions you are arriving at are totally different. They are much matured and very much tuned. That is the reason this topic is very, very, very important. Hope you understand. Come on student, now we will be starting our discussion with the help of a very simple topic, that is percentages. We will be starting our discussion with percentages. What is the meaning of percentage? What is percentage? If you go to any cinema and if you go to any shopping mall, obviously there is a discount. Discount is something around 10% like. Here they use the concept of percentage. If you go to any bank, they will be charging some interest. Maybe they charge around 6% per annum. Here we have the concept of percentage. And whenever you see the newspaper, Government of India saying that our positivity rate of corona is something around 7% positivity. Here again the concept of percentage. I hope you understand. So everywhere, in every walk of our life, we do come across with the very concept of percentage. Now the question comes, what is all this? What is percentage? Why this topic is so crucial? Why we need to discuss this topic? Yes, I want to tell you. The percentage, the very concept of percentage, we derive from the word percent. You know students, what is the meaning of a cent? Cent means 100. So anything that is compared with 100 is said to be percentage. You understand what is the meaning of percentage? Now the question comes, why we need to compare anything with 100? We understand percentage for sure, but the question comes, why we need to compare anything with 100? What is the significance of comparing with 100? Students, if I say 10%, I mean to say that 10 by 100, that is 1 by 10. Therefore, the very concept of percentage is, if I say 10% of the population have died, I mean to say that 10 by 100, that is 1 by 10. If you say that 10% of the students got grade A, what do you mean by saying that? For every 100 students who took the examination, 10 people have got A grade. In another direction, if I say that for every 10 people who took the examination, one student got A grade. Students, for every 10 students, one person got A grade. For every 100, 10 people got A grade. I think both mean the same. What do you think? I think both mean the same. There is no difference. So what I mean to say is, you call it as a percentage. If you call 10%, if you want to convert the same into 10%, they convert into fraction. And if you want to convert 25% into fraction, so 25% converts into 1 by 4. I may say that 1 by 4 is a fraction, 25 is a percentage. Students, I want to ask you one question to you. Have you ever had come across this concept of percentage in your storybooks? You might be having so many storybooks in your home now. Some Akbar Birbal stories or Tenali Ramakrishnudu, something like, you might be having so many storybooks. In any storybook, have you ever come across with the concept of percentage? No. Probably in your storybooks, you might have come across with fraction, isn't it? You might have come across with fraction. You don't have the habit of percentage, because percentage is relatively a new concept. In our old mathematics, we don't have the concept of percentage. We usually handle mathematics with the help of fraction. Probably in your storybooks, you might remember half. Half of the kingdom was lost. A king lost half of the kingdom. And probably after some time, this 1 by 2, we are converting the same into percentage. Students, usually we understand the concept of percentage only in recent time. If I have to be very fair enough to you, maybe hardly 100 years or 150 years. Before that, we never used to have the concept of percentage. We used to tell everything in fraction. So you might remember, students, in storybooks you come to know that people have to pay 1/5 of their agricultural yield as a tax. In earlier days, people used to pay 1/5 of their agricultural yield in the name of tax. You know, what is the meaning of 1 by 5? For every 5 bags they get as a yield, they have to pay 1 bag to the kingdom in the name of tax. And if you want to convert the same into percentage, now you can call the same as 20%. What do you think? Students, are you comfortable now? So, fractions is a very old Indian mathematics, not only Indian, actually mathematics, and the new version of fraction is percentage. So, percentage is relatively a new concept. Earlier we used to have fraction, but actually fraction now becomes old. It is a old mathematics now. Now everything we are getting only in percentage. If I say 10% discount, you can understand. If I say 1 by 10 discount, you can't understand, because we are very much unit to percentage. But I mean to say that percentage is absolutely a relatively new concept, and we discuss the same in fraction. Students, you understand that? So tell me, what is the model number 1? First, any fraction can be converted into a percentage. So what is the way out of converting the same into percentage? If you want to convert any fraction, something like, if you multiply the same by 100, that will be converted into percentage. Come on, student, model number 1, come on, write down. We will be discussing the first model in percentages. Model number 1, convert the following fractions, convert the following fractions into percentage. Into percentage. Convert the following fractions into percentage. Come on student, we are starting the model number, first model. 1 by 5, come on student, 3 by 4, 7 by 20, 1 by 2, 0.1, 1.17. What you are doing, my dear students? You are converting the fraction into percentage. You know pretty well how to convert a fraction into percentage. Come on student, I will be giving you 30 seconds of time because it's not a very difficult one, you can easily do that. Come on here. Are you done? Shall we start? Come on student. 1 by 5, if we convert the same into percentage, it becomes 20%. 1 by 5 into 100, 20%. 3 by 4, if you want to convert the same into percentage, it becomes 75%. 3 by 4 into 100, that is 75%. And 7 by 20, if you want to convert the same, that becomes 35%. And 1 by 2 into 100, that is 150%. Isn't it? 1 by 2 into 100. 1 into 100, 100, half into 100, 50, that is 150%. Everything can be converted into percentage. Only what we need is to multiply the same by 100. 0.1 if you want to convert, that becomes 1%. 1.17 into 100 student, 2 decimals, 2 zeros. They both get cancelled, 170. So, in one word, if I have to be very fair enough to you, I can only say that any percentage can be converted into, any fraction can be converted into percentage by multiplying by 100. You understand that? Come on student, model number 2. Come on quick. Model number 2. Come on student. Now here we are discussing model number 2. Convert the following percentage, convert the following percentage into fraction. Come on student. I am giving you some percentages and you need to convert the same into fraction. Right. Now this is 20%. Come on student. Now this is 15%. 33 1 by 3%. I hope you understand, my dear students. Then 150%. Come on, do it. I am asking you to convert the same into percentage, fraction. Divide the same by 100, you will be getting that. Sir, comment chudamanu. Come on student, how we are converting the percentage into fraction. Earlier we did in the reverse direction and now today in this time we will be discussing in different direction. Tell me students, 20% if you want to convert the same into fraction, 20 by 100, that is 1 by 5, isn't it? And 15% if you have to convert the same into fraction, 15 by 100, that is 3 by 20. Right. Now please come on student. Now question number 3. 33 1 by 3%. 33 1 by 3%. 3 into 33 99 plus 100. So 100 by 3%. And if you want to remove percentage, you have to divide by 100. 100 by 33 means 1 by 3, isn't it? And 150%, 150 by 100, percentage means by 100. 150 by 100 means 3 by 2, 3 by 2 means 1 by 2. So, how we are planning, my dear students? We are converting percentage into a fraction and fraction into percentage. Now, we understand that a fraction can be converted into a percentage and percentage can be converted into a fraction, isn't it? Now, just let me tell you. Come on student, if we have 1 by 6 and if we want to convert the same into percentage, we will be doing like this, 1 by 6 into 100. 1 by 6 into 100 means how many times? 6 times. What we left? 2. 16 2 by 3%, isn't it? And if we have 0.6, obviously we convert the same into percentage by multiplying by 100. 0.6 into 100, 1 decimal 1 0, how much we left? 60%, isn't it? And if we have 1.16 and 1.16 into 100, 2 decimals 2 zeros, how much we left? 116%. We understand how to convert a fraction into percentage, and we also learn how to convert a fraction into percentage. 20% means 20 by 100, that is 1 by 5. Students, let me tell you, this is percentage, relatively a new concept. Earlier we used to discuss this topic in the name of fraction. Now we are discussing the same in percentage. This is all because of our convenience. Mathematics is nothing but is something derived only for our convenience. Students, let me tell you one small story, because maybe this time you get more clear. Why mathematics is considered to be king of all topics? You see that from your childhood you come to know that maths is so important. Why maths is important, man? Why maths is so important? Why we consider this as king of all subjects? What is the significance of this topic? Should I tell you? Students, mathematics has made the science a convenient tool for our happy and comfortable lifestyle. Had there been no mathematics, there is no science. Yes, computer is meant for computing. Computing means calculation. The device which we derived for the purpose of calculations, computer, we are using in every part of our life. Had there been no computer, probably I may not be able to tell you all this, because I could able to reach to you only by means of technology. So science, if there is no mathematics, there is no science. Mathematics is a convenient mode of our perception. Students, in the very earlier stages, in remote stages and something like a stone ages, probably we used to have our calculations like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, dash. And if you have to convert, and if you have to count somewhere in more numbers, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, isn't it? This is how we used to get the numbers. We used to derive the numbers like this. How long and how many times it passes, something like that, maybe 100 years, some thousands of years. After that, there was more civilization. People are living in a society. More people are living in a society. They constructed houses. They are cultivating more land, isn't it? They are doing more businesses. Obviously, this calculation is not convenient for them. Then what happened? Then they derived a different kind of notations. This we said one, this they said two. This particular shape, students, you see, This particular shape, V shape, they said 5. This particular shape, X, they said 10. What is this? L, L, L. You remember, this is what we call is Roman number system. Roman number system, they used to denote the numbers like this with the help of hand, isn't it? So these are all the more, these are all the very interesting. See, this is what we call is C. Roman number systems. Romans derived the numbers with the help of hands. That is only for convenience. Mathematics is meant to make convenient. It is usually any mathematical formula we derive only for our convenience. That is the reason why mathematics is said to be king of all subjects. So once, if any student is comfortable in mathematics, I can tell you that he can learn the remaining subjects with command. That is the reason from your childhood probably your teachers must be telling you maths is so important. Forget about that. Even if you are not so comfortable in that, I will make you comfortable. You just listen to me properly, I will make you comfortable in the topic. So in earlier stages, my dear students, we used to have our perception with the help of fraction, and later on stages the same we are calling in percentage. So I give you some interesting steps, my dear students. I will be giving you some interesting table. You please remember the table. Maybe this is going to be very useful for you. Come on, write down. 100%, you please write down, students, write down the calculations in the same order. 100% is 1 unit, 50% is 1 by 2, 25% is 1 by 4, 12.5% is 1 by 8, and 6 1 by 4% is equal to 1 by 16. You try to recollect and you try to remember that, because we will be using these percentages quite often. So it is mandatory and it is convenient to know the fractional equivalent. 100% is 1 and half of 100% is 50, therefore 1 by 2. 50% half is 25%, 1 by 4. Look at that, 100, 50, 25, 12 and half, 6, 1 by. Fraction 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 8. You can ask me, sir, is it necessary to remember? No need, no need. No. It is not mandatory to remember these values. If you forget also, you can get it back, isn't it? That's not a very big issue. Just look at that, my dear students, 12.5%. How do you remember 12.5%? How do you convert the same into fraction? 2 into 12, 24, 24 plus 1, 25, 25 by 2%. That is 25 by 200. If you remove percentage by 100. So 25 by 200 means 1 by 8. Therefore, what I mean to say is, even if you forget about, you can recollect. But convenient method is try to memorize, because we will be using these percentages quite often. Okay? Come on, student. Come again. Come again. We will be discussing once again. Just note down what we discuss. This is something already you need not note down, because already you have your notebook. 50% is 1 by 2. 25% is, come on student, 1 by 4, and 12.5% is 1 by 8. 6 1 by 4% is 1 by 16. Do you understand why I gave you all these numbers? Probably you can understand. 100%, 50%, come down, 25%, 12.5%, 6 1 by 4. 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 8, 1 by 16. Isn't it? Come on. Like that, you have one more set. 66 2 by 3% is 2 by 3. And half of the value 33 1 by 3% is 1 by 3. Half of this 16 2 by 3% is 1 by 6. half of this 8 1 by 3% is 1 by 12. Try to remember this one, my dear students, and half, half, half. 2 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 6, 1 by 12. Again I am telling you, try to remember in that particular order so that it will be more comfortable. Even if you forget it, you can recollect. We can derive. Don't try to memorize. Try to register in your brain. Memorizing is totally different from registering. Memorizing is a difficult process. Registering in your brain is far convenient process, for which you have to learn everything with your heart, not with your mind. This is very important thing. You understand, student? Yes. Come on. And some more calculations. 14 2 by 7% is 1 by 7, student, and 9 1 by 11% is 1 by 11. 11 1 by 9% is 1 by 9. I gave you some set of questions, students, and that fractional equivalents also. Try to recollect and try to remember them, but it is not mandatory. You can also get it. You can also solve the values. But if you memorize, it is more convenient because we will be discussing a little quicker pace. Okay? Come on, student, model number 3. Come on, quick. Model number 3. Find the following values. Model number 3. Find the following values. Right, students? So, yesterday you took the exam, and day after, before actually you took some examination. Day before yesterday also you took some examination, and most of the questions are usually repeating. Yes, it usually repeats because once you are comfortable with one topic, you get the same topics repeatedly. So, I just want to discuss some of the questions. Probably these questions, if you find any difficulty, we discuss. Now, question number 30, up to question number 30 we discussed already. I think I need not discuss those questions again. And should I go to the next question straight away? Now, look at the next questions, my dear students. I will discuss some of the questions which you might have felt a little difficulty. Yes, students, now look at question number 30. Now, we will be discussing question number 30, question number 31. Let us see what is logic in this question number 31. Let me tell you that the question is obviously so easy, but if any one of you have find any difficulty, I just want to come to that. If each letter is shifted forward 4 places cyclically, 4 places cyclically, you know what is the meaning of 4 places cyclically? Simple, students. If there is C, C's place value is 3, you know, and if you want to shift to 4 places cyclically, 3 plus 4, 7. It must be shifted to 7th, that is G. 4 places cyclically means its actual number plus 4. You will be getting that. Come on, student. Now look at the question and write the code for cryptology. CRY PTOLOGY. Cryptology. So, this is what you are asked to find. Very simple, my dear students. 3, 18, 25, 16, 20, 15, 12, 15, 7, 25. Probably by this time you might have got the numbers of the letters, because we have been discussing for some time. Probably by this time you might be having some idea. You have to. Right, we need to change 4 places cyclically. Now the things are so simple. 4 places, 3 plus 4, 7, 18, 18 plus 4, 22, 25, 25 plus 4, 29, 16 plus 4, 20, 20 plus 4, 24, 15 plus 4, 19, 12 plus 4, 16, 15 plus 4, 19, 7 plus 4, 11, 25 plus 4, 29. Probably if you find any difficulty, I believe that you might have got some confusion about 29 and 29. What is 29th alphabet? In alphabets actually we end with 26. 29 means A 27, B 28, C 29. So cycle continues. So this is C. And obviously this is C. The remaining numbers you are very comfortable. G, V, C, T, 24 is X, 19 is S, 16 is P, and the 19th one is S, K, C. So probably you are so confident. I believe that you are very confident in answering this question. I don't want to waste your time. We move on to the next question. Question number 32. Yeah, students, this one, this model, you might be having many questions in yesterday paper also. So yesterday also we discussed something about this. So today we try to get the perfection in this particular topic. Look at that. What is that? What is given in that question? Just look at that. Come on student. Questions are to be answered using the coding and decoding of the letters in English alphabet as given below. For coding, R the letter is shifted to 27 minus 2R for the letters 1 to 13. Up to the letters from 1 to 13, up to the letters from 1 to 13, what is the meaning of 1 to 13? A, B, C, up to 13, that is up to M. The shifting happens like this. What is the logic? 27 minus 2R. You know what is the logic in the question, my dear students? I tell you. How B is coded, you know, basing on the same logic, how B is coded, you know, because B's place value is 2. Here R is equal to 2. What is the logic we are using? 27 minus 2R. That is 27 minus 2 into 2, 4, 23. What is 23rd letter? W. Therefore, B is coded as W. You understand that? You understand, my dear students? Because B's value is 2. R is equal to 2. 27 minus 2R. 27 minus 2 into 2. 27 minus 4. 23. 23rd letter is W. Interesting. This is how the condition is so designed, isn't it? Okay, okay. Let's students, tell me how E is coded. E's place value is 5. Tell me what is the condition? 27 minus 2R. 27 minus 10, that is 17. What is 17th letter? Q. E is equal to 5 because the place value of E is 5. 27 minus 2R. 2 into 5, 10. 27 minus 10, 17. 17th letter is Q. What man? Comfortable? Right? Maybe in the initial stage you might have got little difficulty, but this time you might be clear about how L is coded by using the same logic. Come on student, come on, come on. L is 12, condition 27 minus 2R. R is 12. 27 minus 24, that is 3. What is third letter? C. Therefore, L is coded as C. Okay. Then how is the P coded in the same language? P is equal to 16. We need to decode. Come on. 27 minus 2R. 2 into 16. 27 minus 32 minus 5. Oh my God. What is minus 5? Are we doing any mistake? Come on. Are we committing any mistake, my dear students? Is our process is not correct? Oh, Interesting. Yeah. Probably this particular condition, what is that condition? 27 minus 2r is limited up to 1 to 13th letters. Then after that, for the remaining, there is one more condition. What is the condition? 2r minus 28. So probably this is not how to convert P. Then what condition we need to follow? We need to get the condition like 2r minus 28. 2 into 16 because r is equal to 16 minus 28. 32 minus 28, that is 4. What is fourth letter? D. This is one kind of condition, my dear students. There may be even more number of conditions. So you see that examiner has got his own facility of designing a question of whatever the direction he wish. It is our responsibility to make it right. We must understand it, we must be able to get it right. Come on student, now my question to you. How the letter K is coded? One more question to you. How the letter Q is coded? Come on student. K place value is 11, Q place value is 17. Up to 11 we can make use of this condition, that is 27 minus 2r, 27 minus 2 into 11, 27 minus 22, that is 5. Remember, fifth letter is E. And after that we need to use this condition 2r minus 28. 2r minus 28. So 2 into 17 minus 28, that is 34 minus 28, that is 6. What is sixth letter? EF. I hope you understand this. The condition is 2r minus 28. 2 into 17, 34 minus 28, that is sixth letter. And of course, for 14th letter there is no condition because 14th letter is shifted to 26th letter. What man? Comfortable? Should I tell you one interesting example? Come on. I tell you some interesting example, just look at that. How M is coded? This is example number 1. Which letter is coded as M? What man? Interesting. M is coded as what letter? Which letter is coded as M? Both are two different questions. Want me to be very fair enough to you? Want me to have some more clarity? How Pavan Kalyan is called? How Pavan Kalyan is called? Isn't it? And who called Power Star? How Amitabh Bachchan is called? Who called Big B? So this is forward direction, this is backward direction. Now we first discuss this and then we come to this point. What is M students? 13. Okay, M is equal to 13, R is equal to 13. Tell me what condition we take? First or second? Yeah, first condition. We have to take the first condition. Come on. 27 minus 2r. 27 minus 2r. R means 13. 27 minus 26, that is 1. What is first letter? A. So, M is coded as A. Interesting. Which letter is coded as 13? Do you think it is forward or backward, man? There must be some letter. We need to find out which letter is that. I tell you. You see, here the final result is 13. Here the final result is 13. Let me check it out. 27 minus 2r is equal to 13. Some condition is applied and finally we got 13. Therefore, 2r is equal to 27 minus 13. 27 minus 13. 2r is equal to 14. R is equal to 7. Oh. What, man? You got it? Which letter is coded as M? Seventh letter is coded as M. What is seventh letter? G. I believe that you require one more question to get the clarification. Right? Okay, right. My question to you. How H is coded? Question number 2. Which letter is coded? En. How do you do this? How do you do this? This is forward direction. A little easy. Backward direction is a little complicated, but forward direction is so easy. How? H is equal to 8. So, what is R? 8. Tell me what logic, what rule you apply? 27 minus 2R. So, 27 minus 2 into 8. 27 minus 16, that is 9. Sorry, that is 11. Tell me what is the 11th letter? K. Done? There is some letter which was coded as 14, but what letter we don't know. But finally we get 14. Let me check it out. 27 minus 2r is equal to 14. Let me apply this logic, this rule. So, 2r, take 2r here. 2r is equal to 27 minus 14. 2r is equal to 13. R is equal to 13 by 2, that is 6.5. Do you have any 6.5 kind of letter, my dear students? Huh? Oh, so probably this rule is not supposed to be applied. Then what we do? N is equal to 14. This time we apply this rule. What is that? 2r minus 28 is equal to 14. 2r is equal to 28 plus 14, that is 42. R is equal to 42 by 2, 21. What is the 21st letter? U. This is what we call coming back, backward direction. Come on student, I give you some exercise. Start. Which letter is coded as B? Solve it. I give you some time. Answer chudam evarna cheptunaremo. Which letter is coded as B? I just wait for your answer. If you don't tell me, I just don't get back. You have to give me your answer. Students, I am waiting for your answer. What should be the letter over here? Okay, let us check it out. Somebody put O. Let me check it out. B is equal to 2. So, at the end you come to know B is equal to 2. First you have to confirm whether you apply this one or this one. Maybe that is not right because you get fraction. Therefore, 2r minus 28 is equal to 2. 2r is equal to 30. R is equal to 15. 15th letter is O. Wonderful students. Excellent, excellent students. You did extremely well. Now, one more question. Which letter is coded as Q? Tell me. Which letter is coded as Q? Which letter is coded as Q? Come on student, come again. Oh, wait. Some of you are coming close but not yet, right? 17. First 17 you have to see this one or this one, maybe this one. That is 27 minus 2r is equal to 17. 2r is equal to 27 minus 17, 10. R is equal to 5. 5 means E. E or no better? Right. Good students. Very good. From tomorrow onwards, our session is going to be very interactive. It is not just like that I am teaching and you are listening. It should be very interactive. Right? Now, please look at that. Now, look at question number 32. Which word is coded as? Which word is coded as Q, T, I, E, A? In question number 32, we have to get back. You know that how to get back to this. Just we have to see, we have seen now. So, Q is 17. We just discussed this. So, 17 is coded as E, therefore E. We have just seen now. Therefore, the first letter should be E. Now, come to T. Which letter is coded as 20? What rule you apply? This rule. 2r minus 28 is equal to 20. 2r is equal to 48. R is equal to 24. 24 is X. And now I. Come on student, how I is coded? Q. Ready? No students, come again. So, I, therefore, we have to use this rule. 27 minus 2r is equal to 9. 2r is equal to 27 minus 9, 18. R is equal to 9. Therefore, I only. And this is M. Exam. Tell me students, right student. Now you are comfortable and I appreciate that you are responding quickly. That is very, very important. If you don't respond, you don't get it. This is not lecture, this is an interactive session. I hope you understand this, right? Now we move on to the next question student. Now because you are comfortable, I don't want to waste your time and we move on to the next question. So this one you can do it because basing on the same logic, so why should I waste your time? Yeah. Maybe 34, I believe that some of you may not be getting it right. Look at that. What is that? Read the following information carefully and answer the question. Oh, some table is given, man. Some table is given and some numbers. He derived the numbers of his own. And some example is data is given 4626. What is, how we get the data, man? Look at the table. Could you see the table properly, students? Just zoom it. Look at the data. And what is the next letter of D, E? And E is 22. 2 plus 2, 4. Just look at the data, just look at the data. Could you see the data, right? Right. What is the next letter of A? That is B. B is 6. Basing on the table, basing on the table. Now, T. What is the next letter of T, man? U. What is U? U is 2. And A. 4, 6, 2, 6. Therefore, A is equal to 6. So, what does that mean? Every time we have to consider the next letter. Basing on that, what is the code for I set? Come on, student. Look at the table. Look at the table. I, what is the next letter of I? J. J means 26. 2 plus 6, 8. Then C. C next letter is D. D means 10. 1 plus 0, 1. Next letter of E is F. 2 plus 4, 6. T's next letter is U. U means 2. Students, are you comfortable? Should I discuss? Should I tell you once again? If you are comfortable, you please message okay. If not, we discuss again. Okay, students? Should I move on to the next question? Come on. Yeah. Next one, question number 35. 35 you can do it, man, because it is something like what we call is every letter is already given by examiner only. Then what do you bother about? Because you need to get the value for 7. No, it is not very difficult because almost every letter is being designed and given to you. Now we need to get 7. How? What is the code for 7? Okay, the code for 7. Students, just look at that. Honest, yes. It is coded as UBA. ES is coded as EF. Therefore, ES is coded as EF. Because everything is given by the examiner only, why should we bother about? We don't bother how the logic is used because we straight away use the values. Come on. Then E. E, fourth letter. Here the fourth letter, R. Then V. Where is V, man? Do we have V? If it is not there, we have to get it right. Okay, we discuss what is there. V, just look at that. V, we discuss again. E means R again. N. N is given. Where N is given? Here. Which one? Sixth letter. What is sixth letter here? A. Your answer must be, look at the option, F R dash R A. Check it out. F R dash R A. Oh, I R J. How many options are available? 2 options. So we have to confirm what we get, whether we get I or J. Tell me what is the logic? In coding, students, tell me what logic examiner is using in this case. What logic? Check it out. This is 19. This is 6. This is 5. This is 18. This is 14. This is 18. Oh, very interesting. Alternately, addition and subtraction is happening. Therefore, we can straight away put your answer FRA. Next question. 36. Oh, right. Probably 36th question you might have had some problem because maybe this is a new question to you. Let us see what is the example given by the examiner. SEAL. Seal is coded as 7519. Let me tell you. Now what you are asked to find page. We have to get it, but let us try to understand what is the logic over here. SEAL. Students, SEAL. Oh, very interesting man. Yes. Students, look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is, yes, it is 8th from right side. What is the 8th from left side? What is 8th from left side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th from left side is H. I think you understand, my dear students. What do you think? So, S is 8th from right side and 8th from left side is H, and H is 7. Therefore, 7 he is making use of that. Done? Then E. S is done, my dear students. Now E. Now we have to see how we get 5 from E. Tell me. E is 5th from left. Tell me what is 5th from right letter? V. What is V? 1 plus 4, 5. Yeah, we get it. Now, how is A coded as 1? Simple. A is first letter from the left and Z is last letter from the right. We have to take first and last equidistance. Z is 10, 1 plus 0, 1, like that. So, when you are comfortable with the logic that is given by examiner, now let us decode how page. Now, let us do this. How page is decoded. Let us take it out. Come on, student. P. What is P? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. P is 11th from right. Tell me what is the 11th letter from left? What is the 11th letter from left? K. K is 22. 2 plus 2, 4. Comfortable, interesting, you know. Then P is done. Now we are working out A. A is first from left. What is first from right? Z. Z is 10. 1 plus 0, 1. Then G. G is 7th from right. What is 7th from left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is T. T means 23. 2 plus 3, 5. And E, 5. How did you get E, man? E is 5th from left. And here the 5th from right is V. V means 14. 1 plus 4, 5. So, from the left and from the right, both must be equidistant. There are n number of models, man. There are n number of models. You can't imagine, oh my God, question can be set like this. But as a student, it is our responsibility to see that any question, whatever the logic the examiner may take, we must be able to get it right. That is the thing we can do. That is the max. I hope you understand. Student, I believe that you are able to handle coding decoding with perfection. Maybe sometimes some questions may go wrong, but never mind. Give your 100%. If you don't give your 100%, if you are comfortable, tell me. If you say okay, then I will leave the question. Otherwise, I will get back to that. Come on, tell me your, just let me see what is the point you mentioned over there. Okay or not? Tell me. Come on, student, just message whether it is okay or not. If it is okay, then I will move on to the next question. So, because I want to see that everybody should be able to understand that. Because almost many of the questions are so easy, man. Many of the questions are so easy. I don't think that I need to explain you any of the questions. Yeah, come on, student. Question number 40. Question number 40, man. Question number 40. Which word is coded as king? Which word is coded as king? Therefore, that is once again getting Do we need to work it out or everything is provided to you? I think everything is provided, only thing is we have to make use of that. Where we have K, K. It is the code of, come on student, it is the code of examination, that is X. Look at that, K is second from left, X is second from left, therefore it should be X. So K is coded, then I. Where is I, man? Where is I? Just check it out. Where is I? If we don't have I means we have to work it out. Then okay, just look at that. Then again N. Tell me where is N? Yeah, we have N over here. Therefore, what is third letter? A. X dash A. We have to fill this place, we do it later. Then G. Then G. G is here, fourth from left, right. What is fourth from right, man? T. Your answer must be X dash A T. Check it out the options, X dash A T. So option number D is ruled out. Option number C is ruled out. It is only between A and B. It is U or V. We have to confirm. How to confirm that? Then we have to look at the logic. Basing on the logic only we come to know that. Therefore, your answer is XV80. Okay? Yeah. Student, I think now you are comfortable. We are discussing almost for the last 4 days. By this time, you might have got some idea about the topic as well. And I believe that we are going in the right pace. Neither I am going quickly nor I am slow. I am sorry because the time is already up. So, we suspend the class right now and we will be continuing. Today also you are going to take coding decoding topic. You take the test with perfection, with more command and with more confidence. And if there is any doubt, we will be discussing again. Thank you student. Have a nice day.